I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just to always be on go time. I think the clouds are on free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. Running from the lights, slip and get up. Thinking about the bullshit leading right up. Mama told me one day you run out of luck. Now I'm looking up, quick tail catching up. Born into that trench mind, niggas had no straight mind. Only thing we know is break a bitch and push that bread line. Head be filled with crazy shit like shorty, had my head tied like bitch. You know you ain't coming to me about no bedtime. Ain't no keep it real, I really feel like the pressure is really on me. I know pressure is a bitch, but I don't let feelings control me. I know I've been getting cold and my niggas was flaking on me. So I had to bet some bitches at some parties. But don't blame me for it, don't blame me for it. I'm too cheap for it. Just watch me going, no brakes. Just keep top speed flowing. Bless me, test me, line me up. I know that I'm the next thing. Praying till don't catch me and arrest me. Hope that every night I make it in my best sleep. I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just to always be on go time. I think the clouds are on free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just to always be on go time. I think the clouds are on free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. Running from the lights, slip and get up. Even about the bullshit, leading right up. Mama told me one day you run out of luck. Now I'm looking up, control catching up. Alright, I ain't resist, but don't take my chain. No, you can't search my shit. Know how it goes. These just praying that shit. Give me my chance before my grave is dig. Bless me.
Hey! Hi, y'all. Hey, Copper.
Hey, what's going on with you?
Sucky.
Yes, I seen that word, deportation, and I cracked up. I couldn't help it from what I saw today.
Yeah, because we have people all over. Hey, EJ, Empress Goddess, Derek Johnson, Focus Mind, Original Intellect. Oh man. Sammy, Bridget. Oh, Lady Moon, my Lisa. Hey now. So they got they have these votes. It's just like really crazy right now with this whole federal. It's wild. You got people on YouTube trying to damn interpret the Constitution, and they be interpreting it to fit their own they give their meaning to the Constitution. Remind you, none of these people are the Supreme Court justices to interpret the Constitution. Pretty much it is what it is. It's not nothing to really interpret. It's whatever's written there. You can't change it and switch it up to fit your
narrative,
right? You can't do that. And I just laugh because people are literally doing this. And I'm like, wow.
You want the secret to it? Nobody ever pulls this up.
Is there really a secret to it?
Yep. Everybody is stuck on the Constitution, and that has nothing to do with us. That is what was put in place for all those elected officials to run the United States of America government. Your rights.
I'm like, no, you got it, honey. Go ahead.
Your rights, and I mean ours, is the Bill of Rights. Pull it up and look at it very closely, people.
Yes.
Then you will know what to use. If you don't know your rights, you don't have any.
Right. It's literally a document that
Good.
tells Congress, and the states, it's a guider for the states to follow on
That's
how
right.
to protect the people and their rights.
That's
And you got
correct.
people in here trying to deprotect the people and switch it up to their narrative, like you said. And I'm like, I ain't never seen so many brown people that look like me that ain't got sixth grade education trying to interpret the Constitution. Is just hilarious. And they like literally put stuff that's not there.
Hey,
By
Sister
going,
Bethy.
by going to, wait a minute, the way they put it there is they go to state agencies and get their policies. That's funny because what they fail to understand is state agency policies and state statutes can't be in conflict with the document, the Constitution.
Nope.
And I'm just like hilarious. I'm like, but it's okay. The beautiful thing about it, they are reading the Constitution, and I'm not going to knock it because they're reading it. But
Well,
what happens is you get people in YouTube trying to interpret it for them and trying to justify their movements, and it's just crazy. Justify their sovereign movements. There's
what? Wait a minute. What?
yes, individual sovereign movements, even though there's nothing in the Constitution or any state law or federal law that says an individual is a sovereign. States are sovereign. Okay, and that's what they fail to understand. And because these wild movements and these people who think they're so damn educated, when they create a business, they're saying you're making yourself sovereign by making yourself a business, and it's just like wild. And this is the type of stuff that I really hope the courts pay attention to.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, sister. Let me show you something. In the Constitution, it reads, there is no nobility. Does anybody understand what those words I just said mean? That right there lets you know there is no sovereign and no sovereignty right there. That's why them guys out there that's shooting them two words out there are going to get their heads beat in. I mean, beat in for real this time. Let them keep using them two words and see how they turn out. When their blood is flowing in the streets from them billy clubs, from them police officers and them handles of them police officers, they'll stop using those two words. All they got to do is pull up a law dictionary and read the word sovereign, then pull up the word sovereignty in a law dictionary, not your house dictionary that you got of Merriam-Webster. That is what's going to get you killed.
Facts. But wait a minute. Congress is up on this. See, because they know about these little sovereign movement teachers. They're coming for them because look at here. Look what just passed in the House. They're not playing with these sovereign.
I saw it. That's why I'm laughing.
You saw it? The House passes bill to punish nonprofits deemed to support terrorism. Okay, the Republican-controlled House, US, on Thursday passed a bill that would give the government broad powers to punish nonprofit organizations it deems support terrorism. Okay, this was the second time members voted on Stop the Terror Financing and Tax Penalties on American Hostages Act. Last week, after suspending House rules to fast-track the bill, the lower chamber failed to garner the two-thirds majority required to pass. This time, after passing the House Committee on Rules, the bill requiring only a simple majority to pass survived the vote, 219 to 184. Okay, but 15 Democrats did join the Republicans in supporting the measure. The bill, which gives the Treasury the power to strip nonprofits if it claims support terrorism of their tax exempt status, does not require the Treasury to adhere to any evidentiary standard and releasing its findings. Okay, so um, these you have these sovereign like trying to hide behind it by being nonprofits, okay, and they're teaching this crap, this UCC crap, it's terrorist crap to make people calling themselves making people sovereign and all this. So they're getting stripped. The IRS, they gave them that power to do that now, and they don't got to do all this other investigation. They could just deem them as to what they're doing and practicing is causing terrorism, and
Sister Bethy,
it's a hot mess.
Sister Bethy, go and tell the truth. They going back on these people 40 years, and they gonna nab every last one of them up. Every
Yep.
last one of them. 40 years, people.
Yeah, I just
They
want to see
done
him.
built this case up. They done built this case up over the years. You're gonna see some things that's gonna be going on in this country after January 20th
Right.
that you
Yep.
ain't never seen before.
I'm looking forward to the day because as Americans we need to see that the Trump core promises are actively being effective, and we need to see it visually this happening. And I really do hope that they go after those sovereign movements. That's
They
part of
going
it.
after them. They going after every last one of them.
They are really, yeah, they are really a danger to our community.
Not
I'm
only that,
serious.
not only that, sister.
Yep.
Keep your eye.
Setting
Now
themselves
I'm right here. I'm
setting
right here at
themselves
the
up.
border.
Yep, setting
I'm-
themselves up, their little nonprofit up as though they're a minister and things like that. They're coming after them, and I can't wait. Causing our people to remove themselves from citizenship after the Indian Removal Act and stuff, and now they're on to the FBI has already been on it of these sovereign like people trying to teach. Okay, not saying all of them belong to the Moorish Science Temple, but a lot of these individual sovereigns are speaking that rhetoric,
You got
and they're
militia groups.
creating nonprofits as though they're a church or some sort of church or affiliation in that manner. Fake straw man names, but
Wait till you see all of the militia men and women that will be picked up. Y'all gonna be surprised who these people are. Look here, this administration is not playing with these people now. They done with that.
they're not. Yep, they're not.
Oh, I know what I wanted to say before you got the show going. Years ago, people, when I was in elementary school, we had a teacher. Her name was Mrs. Dowdell. We had another one named Mrs. White, another one named Mrs. Talbert. These ladies taught us about the Bill of Rights.
My panel is not open for anyone yet. Hey, Bab. My panel is not open for any visits. Only special guests. Hey, Bab. I'm sorry, it's not open yet. Peace. Multi-generational. My panel's not open yet. I'm getting ready to do my slides. So when I open the panel later, if you want to hop on, that's cool. Hey, Bab. Hey, Dakota, and everybody that's just joining in. What's up, Pumpkin? Bab, I miss you being live. I'll be watching smoke when I get off. But multi-generational, you have to come back later. Sorry. Anyway, go ahead. So we can get these slides going, Copper.
Okay. Years ago, these three ladies, when I was in elementary school, they taught us the Bill of Rights. And when I tell you they taught us the Bill of Rights, I mean, we had to know this word for word when I was growing up as a youngster.
Mm-hmm.
They let us know that if you learn these Bill of Rights, you are protected because you know the real law. That's why it's called Bill of Rights.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in the chat,
Hey, Lou.
Please make a note of it to read the Bill of Rights. Learn the Bill of Rights. Teach your children the Bill of Rights as you are learning the Bill of Rights. This way, we protect ourselves and each other. I'm just
Mm,
letting y'all know.
mm.
And don't forget, each one of y'all need to call your congressman or your representative, more than likely, and have them send you the state's constitution.
They
And
can
you
look
will
that up.
have the Bill of Rights with it. Learn it. Stop
They can
being
just
hard
look that
headed.
up. They could just look it up. But let's get into it because I
All
got
right,
a
go
lot.
ahead.
I got a lot of slides, and I think you're gonna find it interesting. So we're gonna talk about mass deportation and the behaviors behind all this. We're gonna talk about federal immigration enforcement and sanctuary cities and their behaviors and alleged. Okay, everything I'm saying is alleged, and this is fair use. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and it's under the fair use. And we're going to go through these slides. Hey, Anthony. And I think you're going to find this interesting because it's all going to bow down to how much power our president, Trump, has in enforcement of this. So let's get into it. Harboring, we're going to define harboring. We all know what harboring is the act of providing a place to stay, shelter, or protection to a person, especially a criminal or someone who is in the country illegal. It can also mean to aid, care for, hide, secret, or keep out of sight. Federal law. Okay, I don't know why that's up there, but um, the federal harboring law, okay, primarily found within Title 8 of the U.S. United States Code, Section 1234A1A, prohibits individuals from knowingly concealing, shielding, or harboring unauthorized immigrants who have entered the United States illegally, essentially making it a crime to knowingly provide shelter or assistance to someone in the country without legal status. Offenses related to aliens. Offenses related to aliens, subsection 1234A1IV, prohibits alien smuggling, domestic transportation of unauthorized aliens, concealing or harboring unauthorized aliens, encouraging or inducing unauthorized aliens to enter the United States, and engaging in a conspiracy or aiding and abetting any of the preceding acts. Subsection 1234A2 prohibits bringing or attempting to bring unauthorized aliens to the United States in any manner whatsoever, even at a designated port of entry. Borders, listen, y'all, port of entry, subsection 1234A3. Alien smuggling, subsection 1234A 1AI, makes it an offense for any person who, knowing that a person is an alien, to bring or attempts to bring to the United States in any manner whatsoever such person at a place other than a designated port of entry or place other than as designated by the commissioner, regardless of whether the such alien has received prior official authorization to come to, enter, or reside in the United States, and regardless of any future official action which may be taken with respect to such alien. Domestic transporting, subsection 1234AI A1AI makes it an offense for any person who, knowing or in reckless disregard of the fact that an alien has come to enter or remains in the United States in violation of law, transports or moves or attempts to transport or move such alien within the United States by means of transportation or otherwise, in furtherance of such violation of law. In the United States, harboring is a crime under Title 18 of the United States Code, Section 1071, and Title 8 of the United States Code 1234A1A III. This law covers harboring a fugitive from justice. The government must prove that the defendant concealed or harbored the fugitive. The penalty for harboring a fugitive can include up to 1 year in prison. If the fugitive was charged with a felony, the penalty can lead up to 5 years in prison. Title 8, the law covers harboring an alien who has entered or remains in the United States illegally. Examples of harboring: renting a room to a fugitive. That could be for like hotels. Providing a fugitive with guns and disguises. Like if you bring somebody over here and then they're a dude, you make them put a wig on and makeup, that's a disguise. Allowing a fugitive to stay in your home. Purchasing cars for a fugitive. And 1828, Title US United States Code 1071, the elements of offense. Under Title 18 United States Code Section 1071, the government must establish the following 4 essential elements. A federal warrant has been issued for the fugitive's arrest. The defendant had knowledge that a warrant had been issued for the fugitive's arrest. The defendant actually harbored or concealed the fugitive, and the defendant intended to prevent the fugitive's discovery or arrest. And these are precedent decisions at the federal level. All of these, I'm not going to read all those. Elements of harboring illegal immigrants: knowledge, action, and location. The defendant knew or recklessly disregarded that the person was not a citizen and had entered the country illegally. Action: the defendant provided shelter, food, or other assistance to the person, or concealed them from detection. And location: the defendant's action took place in a building or vehicle. And the third element, concealing. The third element that the government must prove to establish Section 1071 offense is that the defendant actually harbored or concealed the fugitive. The courts have uniformly held that 18 U.S.C. Section 1071 does not prohibit all forms of aid to a fugitive. Instead, what is generally required to establish a violation is any physical act of providing assistance, including food and shelter and other assistance to aid the prisoner in avoiding detection and apprehension. And these are the cases that support and are used, federal cases. Now, continue. The word harbor means to lodge or to aid or to care for one who is secreting himself from the process of the law. The word conceal means to hide or to secrete or keep out of sight, or to aid in preventing the discovery of one who is secreting himself from process of the law. Several cases have construed the terms harbor and conceal narrowly, so as to not to cover the mere payment of money to a fugitive, United States versus Shapiro, or making of a false statement to law enforcement officers concerning the whereabouts of the fugitive. And these are the cases, United States, as stated by the court in United States versus Foy. These are all cases, and you'll get these in our newspaper. The statute prescribes acts calculated to obstruct the efforts of the authorities to effect arrest of the fugitive, but it does not impose a duty on one who may be aware of the whereabouts of the fugitive, although having played no part in his flight, to reveal this information on pain of criminal prosecution. But see, United States versus Donaldson, defendant by lying to the agents about the fugitive's presence, had taken a positive step to prevent the agent from discovering the fugitive. United States versus Bammy, blah, 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 blah. Refusal to admit a police to enter defendant's apartment was an active measure taken by the defendant to prevent the discovery and arrest of the fugitive. If the government officials knew where the fugitive was, this would not alter the nature of the defendant's conduct. Other cases would have upheld convictions under Title 18 United States Code Section 1071 include situations where the defendant had rented a room for the fugitive and supplied him with guns and disguises, allowed the fugitive to stay in his home, and instructed a family member to remain silent about the fugitive's presence, had purchased cars for the fugitive and paid repair bills, and had signed a lease, installed a telephone, and shopped for groceries for the fugitive. This is real, y'all. These are cases to back them up. Federal. We talking federal now. Other actions that may be considered harboring include: 1, bringing someone to the United States outside the designated entry point, transporting someone who the defendant knew had entered the United States illegally. That's number 2. Number 3, encouraging an alien to come to the U.S. or reside in the U.S. illegally. 4, aiding or abetting any of these actions. Penalties for harboring illegal immigrants: criminal fines, jail time, up to 20 years in prison if the authorized alien caused serious bodily injury or endangered someone's life, up to life in prison if someone's death resulted from violating these laws. Now, we just had a case here in Connecticut where this illegal alien killed his baby and the mother. His ass got life. The Immigration and Nationality Act, INA, prohibits concealing, shielding, or harboring unauthorized individuals in the United States. Now, we now have an understanding of all of this. So I'm reading through all of this so you can see how the president got this power to do this, and because it was done before. Governor Orville Eugene Faber. Now, very familiar to y'all. Orville Faber is born January 7, 1910, Greasy Creek, Arkansas. Died December 14th, 94, Conway, Arkansas. Was a U.S. politician who, as governor of Arkansas, 1954 to 67, fought against the desegregation of Little Rock Central High School in 1957. Fabus, the son of a poor farmer, was a Southern populist who supported New Deal policies. After his election as governor, he appointed 6 Dodge to hijack African American men, because that wasn't used in the 50s. They would have been coloreds, to the Democratic State Committee, a move that triggered a charge during his 1956 re-election campaign that he was liberal on issues concerning race. The following year, after the entire Arkansas legislature signed the Southern Manifesto, which attacked the U.S. Supreme Court's decision and Brown versus Board of Education, which called for desegregation, of public schools as naked judicial power, Fabbis determined that his political survival depended on stopping desegregation. That if he stopped it, he would be reelected. So let's get it, y'all. In 1957, he defied a federal court order that called for the end of racial segregation in schools and ordered the Arkansas National Guard to prevent violence by blocking the access of 9 black students to Little Rock Central High School. Y'all, this could have been one of y'all grandparents. His action was countered by President Dwight Eisenhower, who mobilized, all right, here we go, Trump, 1,200 U.S. paratroopers to usher the students into the school. There you go. Fabbis's action attracted national television attention and set the stage for the South's resistance to integration. After leaving office in 1967, having served 6 terms, Fabbis worked as a bank clerk and made 3 1970, 1974, and 1986 unsuccessful bids for the governorship. He defended his record in the Fabbis. So he defied the federal court order that called for racial segregation. So he said he defied it. So President Dwight Eisenhower said, all right. He mobilized 1,200 Army paratroopers to usher the students into the school. That's the power that the president has. And you better learn, you better know that Trump has that power. For mass deportation. Oh, I ain't finished yet. Trump has that power. We think about this copper so far. He got that power for mass deportation. So these sanctuary cities and stuff, I'm going to keep going. But Copper, you got something you want to say before I keep going?
Nope, you got it.
Let's keep going. Little Rock 9, a group of African-American high school students, dodged a hijack because they was coloreds in them days, who challenged racial segregation in the public schools of Little Rock, Arkansas. The group consisted, now y'all do your genealogy now, because some of these could be your grandparents or aunts or great aunts. Their names was Melba Patillo, Ernest Green, Elizabeth Eckford, Minnie Jean Brown, Terrence Roberts, Carlotta Walls, Jefferson Thomas, Gloria Ray, and Thelma Mothershed became the center of the struggle to desegregate public schools in the United States, especially in the South. The events that followed their enrollment in Little Rock Central High School provoked intense national debate about racial segregation and civil rights. And here they go. These could be your ancestors. So if it is, you get this picture and you can circle your auntie or uncle's head. During the summer of 1957, the Little Rock 9 enrolled at Little Rock Central High School, which until then had been all white. The students' effort to enroll was supported by the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in Brown versus Board of Education, which had declared segregated schooling to be unconstitutional. Okay? The Little Rock 9, warned by the Little Rock Board of Education not to attend the first day of school, the 9 African-American students arrived on the second day, accompanied by a small interracial group of ministers. They encountered a large white mob in front of the school who began shouting, throwing stones, and threatening to kill the students. In addition, about 270 soldiers of the Arkansas National Guard, sent by Arkansas Governor Orville Eugene Faubus, blocked the school's entrance. Okay? Faubus had declared his opposition to integration and his intention to defy a federal court order requiring desegregation. Now, what's going to be funky is if sanctuary states or municipalities or cities that are allegedly saying they're not going to comply when Trump orders the federal militia to run up in there and get them out of here. Because if they do, and if they are not in compliance and try to do what Faubus did, these governors can go to jail. These pastors in these big churches, hiding them in their basements, they can go to jail because you're harboring. You can't do that. I don't care if you're a church, anybody gonna get it. You can go to jail. A governor of a state, a mayor. Oh yeah, they can. So they can try to make all the justifications they want, but they can go to jail. That's against the law. Illegal immigrants is against the law at the federal level and at the state levels. So how are you going to harbor your fugitive and go against your own? As a state, as a municipality, you're going against your own law, and you know that these people are illegal. So Trump got power. Did not the militia go in and blow up Wall Street? Don't get me going.
Sure did.
Let's go. The confrontation in Little Rock drew international attention to racism and civil rights in the U.S., as well as the battle between federal and state power. Television and newspaper reporters devoted substantial coverage to the Little Rock Nine, as the African-American students were called. This is crazy because, like, I'm reading this today, I was not even born. And I don't think you were either. Were you, Copper?
No, nope, not when, not, no, that happened in the 1950s.
Right, you wasn't born. I wasn't born. And
what year was that?
1950 something.
1950, 50, 55, 56.
57, something like that. We wasn't born.
No, I wasn't born then.
President Dwight D. Eisenhower, Governor Faubus, and Little Rock's mayor, Woodrow Mann, discussed the situation over the course of 18 days, during which time the 9 students stayed home. The students returned to the high school on September 23rd, entering through a side door to avoid the protesters' attention and wrath. There it is. There it is. They were eventually discovered, however, and white protesters became violent, attacking African-American bystanders. These was coloreds, as well as reporters from northern newspapers. These were not Africans. There was no such thing as African-American in 1957. African-American label did not come until 1988. So these were not Africans. The students were sent home, but they returned on September 25th, protected by the U.S. soldiers. U.S. soldiers. Despite Eisenhower's publicly stated reluctance to use federal troops to enforce desegregation, he recognized the potential for violence and state insubordination. What I tell you, you cannot be in no state insubordination when the supreme law of the land is being enforced. Facts.
That's facts. Straight facts. I ain't got nothing to say on that one.
He thus sent the elite 101st Airborne Division, called the Screaming Eagles, to Little Rock and placed the Arkansas National Guard under federal command. The Little Rock Nine continued to face physical and verbal attacks from white students throughout their studies at Central High. I went to Central High School in Connecticut. I was a cheerleader. One of the students, Minnie Jean Brown, fought back. Oh, that must have been my grandmother. And was expelled. The remaining 8 students, however, attended the school for the rest of the academic year. At the end of the year in 1958, we were not born. Gobbert.
Heck no. That's 2 years before I was born.
Way after me. I was born way later. Senior Ernest Green became the first African American to graduate from Little Rock Central High School, and they wasn't Africans. The news media or nobody has any slave ship proof that Ernest Green was an African. He was an Indian, a black one, an unacknowledged one. Let's get it. Don't play with me. And there's Governor Farbus. He was elected in 1958. Me and you wasn't born, and nobody in the chat. Rather than permit desegregation, he closed all of Little Rock schools. Many school districts in the South followed Little Rock's example, closing schools for implementing social school choice programs that subsidize white students' attendance at private segregation academies, which were not covered by the Supreme Court's decision. Little Rock Central High School did not reopen with a desegregated student body until 1960. I still wasn't born. This dude closed all the schools so that they wouldn't. I am. They did not want to go to school with no Indians.
No, of course they didn't.
And efforts to integrate schools and other public areas throughout the country continued through the 1960s. So now
wait a minute, Sister Bessie. Tell the truth why they didn't want to go to school with them Indians.
I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you the reason why they didn't want to go to school with any of them Indians in Mississippi, Arkansas, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, none of them southern states is because they were not as smart as those Indian children.
Wow, a hot mess.
That's why. And all you got to do is go back and look at their school records. You'll see it. Them children were straight A's.
Wow. So we're gonna talk about our government, our president. Okay, we're gonna talk about our president. Okay, that took the map. We're gonna talk about him. Yep, I always do this because I'm really happy. We're gonna talk about our president Trump and his power. We're going to talk about his power now. I'm going quickly through these slides. The 7 powers of the United States president. He's commander in chief. Let's wait. I'm dropping bombs for all his powers. It's my show. I do what I want. The 7 powers of the president of the United States. He's the commander in chief. The president commands the armed forces and can call out troops to protect the nation. Like he said, mass deportations, sanctuary city or not, he can call out these troops to protect the nation. Because number one, all right, We have all these illegal immigrants. We know how we have a proximate number, and they're not supposed to be here. They're hiding around these sanctuary states. Okay, people are harboring them, and they have all kinds of backgrounds that we don't even know about. Murderers, rapes, everything. And they're harming us. Drugs, fentanyl, everything's coming with them. And now it's at national attention. And he has a right to go in and massively deport them out of here. Because when they come over here with those type of criminal behaviors in their background, fentanyl, all the deaths of fentanyl, and all this other stuff, he has a right to send troops to protect the nation from them. They are illegal and they are not supposed to be here. And sanctuary cities and states should not be harboring them, providing them with food and shelter. It should be treason as far as I'm concerned. Wait a minute. Hold up 1 second. As far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, but this is my opinion, and it could be anybody's opinion. If a state is harboring immigrants like this, illegal immigrants, okay, first of all, that should be treason against a state or a municipality. Because you're harboring people that are illegal, first of all, because it's illegal. And if it's illegal, why are you harboring them? And they're dangerous. You are going against your own constitution and immigration laws, and you're putting the American citizens at risk for their behaviors, drugs, everything that's going on. So I believe that it's, if you're a governor or a mayor and you're allowing this in your state, you should be arrested with treason. That's a terrible thing against the country, because you're not looking out for the best interest of the American citizens that are paying taxes for you to protect us. Any objections to that type of power for the president? What are your thoughts, Copper? Because we're on Commander in Chief and his commanding power.
Well, if anybody knows what that word commander is, one, and then the other word is chief, then you know he's dealing with the United States, and he's dealing with America, and he's dealing with the foreigners that came here, and he's the commander over them, and he's also dealing with the Indians that were already here. That's why he's called the chief right now. So he is the top Indian chief in the country.
Hello.
So everybody running around here calling themselves chiefs, you might want to get rid of that title. Get it off you.
Well,
because you might have to deal with that.
Title.
You know what I'm talking about, Sister Bethany. See, you are over a tribe. All these other ones running around here calling themselves chiefs, they ain't over no tribe. Come on now.
And they the ones that got fentanyl running around selling it.
Let
me go. Okay. So we have his commanding power. Legislation, from a legislative perspective. He has the president can't sign or veto bills and resolutions passed by Congress. The president can also initiate legislation and recommend legislative measures to Congress. So he's one of the top persuaders to our congressmen and congresswomen. Foreign affairs. The president can make treaties with the approval of the Senate. Just needs the approval of the Senate. Represent the nation in talks with foreign countries and direct the nation's diplomatic corps. Appointments. The president can appoint ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls, judges on the Supreme Court, and other officials with the advice and consent of Congress. Facts. Now,
That's facts.
executive clemency. The president can grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in the case of impeachment. Constitutional duties. The president is required to take care that the laws are faithfully executed and to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. The president can convene or adjourn Congress and give Congress information on the state of the union. The president also has informal power, such as bargaining and persuasion, issuing executive orders, and signing statements. Now, I can say this as far as executive orders as it pertains to mass deportations. He don't even need an executive order to do mass deportations of illegal immigrants because we have laws that states that it's illegal. It's illegal to come in the United States. He doesn't need an executive order to impose mass deportation. It's already law. All he has to do is enforce it at this point. But if he wants to make it an executive order, he can, but he don't have to because he has so much case law at the federal level, okay, to enforce it so he can protect the people. And that's part of his job. That's his job as chief and commander-in-chief, to protect the American United States citizens. Let me see. What are sanctuary cities and why do they exist? To combat anti-immigrant rhetoric. Okay, anti-immigrant rhetoric. How are you going to combat illegal federal law that's illegal? Federal law that's illegal. Why would a state do that? Why would a state or municipality do that?
That's a pretty good question.
Why would a sanctuary city combat anti-immigrant rhetoric? When we're not talking about immigrants not coming over here. We're talking about the illegal ones. And why would you even combat it? Detention and okay, to combat anti-immigrant rhetoric, detention and deportation, communities across the country have proclaimed sanctuary city status. How are you going to do that over federal law, which is the supreme law of the land? You're going to combat with and fight with the federal militia, the armed forces?
Well, think about it. Let's go back a few years ago when they opened the southern border illegally, allowed them people to come in here, because I don't think anybody was paying attention to what was going on. All they was listening to was the news telling them that the illegals are coming in the country. But what they didn't pay attention to was that Not only were they illegals, but they were criminals. But what kind of criminals? They were of a military criminal organization being brought in here for a particular reason.
But
And look,
my question to that is, we're letting them in here, okay? The people that are letting them in here should be arrested, or
I agree.
or whoever gave the people the order to let them in here should be arrested.
And they robbed the coffers of ours to give to them 5 or 5,800 every month, each one of them. That's men, women, and children, mind you.
Facts.
They also, this was done by the federal government, not by the states. The state that went along with that criminal activity, from the governor down to his attorney general, down to those mayors who allowed them people to infiltrate their cities using federal monies, they are the ones who need to all be brought up on charges. Every last one of them. I don't care who it is.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if y'all heard the latest.
Giving our tax dollars to illegal immigrants, providing them with food and shelter. Who did that? Who provided illegal immigrants, okay, with food, shelter? Who did that?
The executive branch of the government. The executive branch.
Shouldn't that government or municipality leader be in jail for this?
Yes.
And charged with treason?
Yes.
You have risked the lives of Americans. Okay? Should they not be charged with treason? You're not protecting the American citizens. You've weakened the power in our Constitution. Now Trump has to come in office and stand on it and put it back in power. You did exactly what it says that you can't do. You're harboring fugitives, feeding them, providing them with shelter,
and harboring them, and then tried to get the American people to go along with it by telling the American people they need to open up their homes to the illegal immigrants. Do you see the play?
Facts.
They trying to get everybody involved in the crime. They tried to get everybody involved in their crime against the people of America, period.
Facts. Look at all the people who have died. Countless. I can't even keep up with count. I'm gonna have to look at the statistics of all the people that have died from fentanyl. And they're still selling it. And states are still making raids of people being caught with fentanyl, including my state where I live. I read the news.
Here in Michigan, they're getting caught with it too. It's all over the country.
And these people are illegal immigrants. In some instances, a lot of instances. Cities that pursue sanctuary city policies do so for various reasons, all of which relate to some level of human rights and community growth.
You know what? You know what the biggest thing is, though?
Okay, if people can go to jail in your state for violation of laws, why aren't these people going to jail for violating the law at the federal level?
Because
in their own state level.
Because none of the senators, only but a few, none of the senators but a few, and none of the Congress people but a few did not go along with this. And they didn't have the numbers to bring charges against the executive branch of this government. That's why they haven't gone to jail yet. But they will. They will come January 20th. I'm telling you.
I really think, because they've been going after Trump to put him in jail and stuff and all this stuff. All right. Which is bullcrap. And why are these mayors and state leaders not going to jail for harboring fugitives, illegal immigrants,
How about it's
and
all a
and,
RICO?
and using the United States citizens' tax dollars.
This is going to be the largest RICO case come January 21st.
I really would am interested to see how this would go.
Because this was blatant organized crime perpetuated against America, using the United States to do it.
I don't even hear no illegal immigration in countries like China and the other European countries, only Europe and United States. I don't hear illegal immigration. Who's going to illegally immigrate to Africa, first of all?
Nobody.
Exactly.
If you got good sense, you won't.
Okay. The phrase sanctuary city is not a legal term, but one developed over time and more recently reflecting a response to ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement policies and actions. In general, a sanctuary city is a community with a policy. Your policies are in conflict with the United States federal constitution and federal law. Policies.
This administration, people, just said in their private meetings, fuck the American people. They gonna do what they want to do. And they did do what they wanted to do. And it pissed the people off.
Let's get it. In general, a sanctuary city is a community with a policy, written or unwritten, that discourages local law enforcement from reporting the immigration, that discourages law enforcement from reporting the immigration status of individuals unless it involves investigation of a serious crime. So, should not these policymakers, including the leader of whether it's a mayor, because if you're talking at a community level, you're talking about the mayor, and these policies are against illegal immigration. And there may be policies to turn local level police officers away. These sanctuary communities go beyond cities, though. One can find entire counties and states declaring sanctuary status. That is not in the 10th Amendment. I'm sorry. That is not a law hereby designated to the state to deal with. No. There is federal law that says, no, you can't do this. They're doing exactly what the federal law says that they can't do as sanctuary cities. They wrote policies. Why are they not in jail?
Because the people didn't scream loud enough any federal laws out loud as a people in each one of them cities, any of those federal laws. If you go back and look at what they were talking about and how they were talking, you would see that it fell on deaf ears.
These communities typically do not honor requests by ICE to detain undocumented immigrants whom local agents apprehend for misdemeanor crimes or investigations. Many in sanctuary cities also refuse to deputize their local officers as federal agents, unnecessary technicality, and those local officers carry out the duties of ICE agents. There is no specific federal law against sanctuary city policies. Bull crap. Because number one, it's illegal. And they're telling you in federal law what you can't do if you're harboring them, okay? Sheltering them, feeding them, and hiding them out. You are in violation. They should not be in here.
You,
And if
sis-
they come over here pregnant and have a baby, you walked in here illegally with your baby. You and your unborn baby is illegal. So you and your unborn baby got to go back. That's abuse of United States law, and anybody in any state allowing, okay, anchor babies as citizen should be charged with treason. Because number one, you walked
I
in here
agree.
unpregnant. You walked in here pregnant. All right. So you and your unborn baby, and when it gets born, it's illegal. You're born in the United States. Abuse of power being done by policymakers. Yes, the United States statute, United States states if you're born here, you're a citizen, but it doesn't protect illegally born citizens. I'm sorry.
Then they had nerve enough to run a campaign.
if you pregnant and you over here and you had your baby, you're illegally in the state, and your baby's illegal. You had an illegally born baby. Not legal. Sorry. So these are the list of sanctuary states in the United States. Okay, as of 2021, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Vermont, and Washington. Most being let me see, one, 2,
11 cities.
3,
Ain't that something?
4. It seems like 4 of them are original 13 colonies.
11 states went along with that nonsense. So
No, they probably gonna get arrested.
all of the elected officials and the appointed officials, every
Any
last one of
policy,
them are.
any policy made in a state, okay, that is in conflict with federal law and precedents, it's unconstitutional to harbor
They're all guilty.
illegal aliens. Why are they not charged and walked out into prison? That needs to take place. Because they damn sure made Trump go to jail.
Oh, they were trying to put him there.
Right. But anyway, LA Sanctuary City law won't prevent deportation. So they're not going to prevent the deportations, but they are hardening their defenses. In other words, like
Wait a minute, sister. They're just as guilty because they took the money too.
Wait. You got to listen what they're saying. Facing President-elect Donald Trump's promised mass deportation of immigrants and the country illegally, the Los Angeles City Council on Tuesday tentatively backed a sanctuary city law that forbids city employees and resources from being involved in federal immigration enforcement. Now, they're not going to stop the feds from coming in there, running up in there, getting them illegals out. But what they're not going to do is have their local militia help them out. They're leaving it up to the feds to come in there and run these out. The law would not stop the federal government from carrying out mass deportations in Los Angeles. Still, it is intended to signal that City Hall is standing with its large immigrant population in a deep blue city already well known for resisting Trump. And that's all good. That's all good. Resist them all you want. But when the federal troops come in there, they ain't gonna. They're saying that they're not gonna stop them.
Heck no, how you gonna stop them? How you gonna listen?
Nah.
Do you know who them federal troops are that's coming up in there?
Our military.
Do you know what branch of the military though?
No, I don't. To be
Yeah, yeah,
honest,
you do.
only
They
thing I
just told you it's the ones that was down there in Arkansas during the 50s. You don't want them
oh,
up in
okay.
your city.
I don't,
Oh,
man.
heck no, you don't want them
Look,
up in your
they,
city.
they got a gun on them, mass weapons and
They
gear.
got orders to
And
kill.
look, and it says Fed. You know, it is what it is.
They
Get them
got
out of
orders
here.
to kill. I'm just listen.
They do.
Go
They
back
do.
and look at what happened in Little Rock, Arkansas, and
No, I
look at
know.
who. That's who they gonna send up in there. That part of the military. You ain't heard of
A
them
hot
in a
mess.
long time.
A hot mess.
Hey, look. I don't know if any of y'all ever lived through the 67 riots. But let me tell y'all something. As a little guy of the age of 7, when we seen all them military guys coming up into them parts of the city where them riots was at, and them military was up in there, and they put that curfew down. You better not have been outside when that clock ticked.
Right.
You can act like you a gangster, a thug, or whatever. You could tell them, "Oh, I'm going to visit my girlfriend." You got your head knocked off.
Yeah.
They
They're
did.
not
They weren't
playing.
kind to you. You an enemy.
Yeah. Yes. Indeed.
You better have
So
that blue. You better have that blue ID on you with that time on there. That what time you went to work and what time you were on got off work and how long it took for you to get home. And you better not come up out that door no more after that either. I'm telling you what I know. I ain't telling you what I heard. I ain't seen it. I seen it happen.
mhm. And these are like these articles and decisions are this week. Earlier this week they made these announcements because they know, it's so many different states and municipalities talking about this mass deportation, and they know that he is serious about this. He's very serious about this. He is.
Now, mind
What,
you, he ain't
what
just
Smoke
talking
say?
about he ain't just talking
Smoke
about
say
these Latinos and these Hispanics. He talking about these illegal Jamaicans that's here, these illegal Haitians that's here. Listen, he ain't playing.
well, the guy in Connecticut, he got in trouble for they gave him what 20 years or something like that. I can't remember. I was reading it earlier. He came in here illegally. He came in here legally when he first came back in the 80s, and then he came in back in illegally under fake names. And they do that after being deported. They come back in under fake names.
Well, now you belong to the federal government. You do that.
And
Ain't no.
a lot of them come in here under fake names, right?
Yeah.
And what they do, because they know another Jamaican, they go and work in the hospital as a RN because their Jamaican relative teach them what they learned in school. Okay. And they'll go and work in another hospital under that same relative's name. And they're not even legal. Being RNs, that's dangerous. Say like I'm a RN and I'm from like one of these Jamaican countries or these countries where you need to be naturalized citizen. All right. Say like I came in, I'm a United States citizen and I happen to be Jamaican. And Empress Goddess is my cousin from Jamaica. She comes in. I work at ABC Hospital as an RN. Now she'll go work in ABC DEF Hospital under my name full time as an RN. And she's working under my name. They do that all the time, including the guys.
Sure
Like
do.
if you got an illegal immigrant cousin What they do, they'll work these damn uh what do you call it? They're working, let me tell you, they're working UPS, FedEx, everything. Say like you are a United States citizen and Smoke is your cousin from a foreign country like Jamaica. Smoke came over here and now he working for UPS under your name too for FedEx, and you're working UPS under your name. What the IRS is going to need to do is crack down like, okay, Smoke, I want to know how you're working full time at FedEx and UPS 8 hours a day. How is your body in two places? That's what's going on. The women do it as CNAs from all the way up to RN. They're doing this in every culture. People are working under somebody with the credentials name. In every look, it's in every profession. Even if they're a damn psychiatrist. Somebody will work as a fake psychiatrist in another state using your credentials. If they're licensed to work in that state, you become me in another state. This is what they're doing, and they're getting away with it. Especially in the West Indian community. They're notorious in the hospitals for this. Everybody you think who they are ain't who they are. Their asses are the one that need to be deported too. Don't blame it on Mexicans. That community is notorious for doing that. All of them don't have RN licenses. All of them don't have CNA certificates. But there's one cousin that do, and that one cousin gets certificate in different state, and everybody she know work in these different states under her name. They're doing it.
There was a guy that I used to when I was out when I used to drive the truck for Fords, right? Well, he was driving too, but he was a twin, and his brother was a vicious dude, and he lived in Ohio. He was using that twin's identity in Ohio.
Yeah, that's what they do. For real, they're doing it now, especially in my state. My state, I know this to be true. They work in the nursing homes. These people are not who they are. These girls, a lot of these girls that are working in these nursing homes and doing these CNA jobs, they're not United States citizens. They are fake. They're fake because their real cousin lives in New York. But they get registered in Connecticut, and that cousin comes in from the island and work all these damn CNA and type jobs. Men too. This is what they're doing. And they've been doing it since I was in high school. All kinds of crooked stuff was going on. You couldn't even get out of high school for somebody from the West Indies running up to you. You know, when you turn, they know when you turn 18 because they run up to you. I got the cousin. And okay, they're catching them right out of high school when they turn 18. Me got a cousin. Me know you want a car. Me give you $5,000 to marry my cousin. Him come in the country. You don't have to live with him. Just when they come do the inspection, me buy your car. So what is an 18-year-old going to say when they know their mom and daddy ain't buying them no car, but all they got to do is marry this person for a few years till they get their citizenship? They got a ring going.
Yeah, they got that. They busted a ring here in Michigan like that. I remember that.
They still doing it now.
There was about 400 of them women doing that crap.
They're still doing it now. A lot of men are coming out of prison broke. They know what to do. They're coming out of prison broke. And they're saying, all right, well, if you marry this person 5 years, we give you $10,000. We know you want to get back on the block. What do you think he's gonna say when he get out of jail?
You gonna say, yeah.
And this is what pisses me off, because even in state governments across the state, who you think is working for you in your little department ain't who you think it is. They're under other people's credentials because they want to make money. So how can you work two jobs and not be tired? Getting your cousin to come in and be you in another state. There it is.
Yeah, and it's deeper than that. Because not only that, look at how they're registering their children.
All kinds of funky stuff.
Them children are born. The first thing they do is hurry up and get them children the Social Security numbers, right? Well, now when that child,
this lady in Glastonbury, okay, this rich lady, I'm gonna look the case up again. I couldn't find. She got in trouble for having slaves, and these people were from like those Middle Eastern country. They were dark. They look like people from India, but they're not. They could have been from like Bangladesh or somewhere. But the lady was rich, and she let them move in, a husband and wife and their kids. Okay, it's a big house, and they watched her kids. Okay, and then they was ready to go, and the lady threatened them. Finally, these people told what she was doing. She was threatening them. If they leave, she was going to call immigration. Yes, this white lady. And her argument was, I sent them to the best schools. I was like,
I think I remember that case.
Yeah, I was like, no. Yes.
I remember that case.
Still going on today. They're housing these immigrants to live in there to be their nannies. And so the son and daughter paying these nannies 24-hour care to care for their ailing mom, so their mom don't have to go in the nursing home and lose all her money to a nursing home. So they come out cheaper when they allow the person from another country to live in their house and take care of their family. Yep, they're still doing it.
I hate to say it, but ain't that what happened to Tiger Woods?
What?
Wasn't his wife a nanny?
A hot mess. And then that other guy, what is his name? He got the Woody, what's his name? Woody Allen got his nanny pregnant and married. Right? Woody Allen.
No, Woody Allen married that adoptive girl.
Oh, it's something to that extent.
Yeah.
Yeah. A hot mess.
She was Korean, I think, or Vietnamese or something.
And this is what the Black Europeans are allowed to do when they come here in these different states. Seriously. Working under their cousin who's already a citizen's name in another state. They may want to go to New York and live and work on there. And that person gets registered in New York, and who you think is working for you ain't who they is. It's a hot mess. It's horrible.
That's why we were hearing for a while there, all skin folk and kin folk, right?
Facts. So
my slogan is they look like us, but they are not of us.
Right. I like governor governor from where is he from? Tennessee governor. backs Trump plan to nix Department of Education, sees bellwether on the new school choice bill. So I want to watch this because I agree with him and Trump. I do. I think this is something worth fair use. I really think I back him up too. I back Trump and I back him up. Listen to this, y'all.
Them people ruined the public school system across America.
Oh my goodness, it's terrible. Tennessee governor backs Trump plan to nix Department of Education, sees bellwether on school. They do need to get rid of it. Well, look what he's saying. He's a Tennessee governor, and I'm back. And now, see, you guys are learning now because we've been so indoctrinated and overwhelmed with over Democratic power. Now you're saying Republican power. All the lies they told you about how Republicans get down. The Democrats have lied so long. Listen. Come on.
Unique.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Styles. Every kid has a different life situation.
Wait a minute. You got let's
every kid's unique. Every kid has different learning styles. Every kid has a different life situation. And every family ought to have the opportunity to choose the best path for their kid. In particular, I don't think that only the wealthy families that can afford a private option, that those families should be the only ones, and those children should be the only ones that have that option for choice. It is targeted at low income students. The first 10,000 of 20,000 scholarships for specifics with regarding as relates to our piece of legislation, the first 10,000 seats are reserved for low income students. That's because that's the priority. But ultimately, I think every family, regardless of their income, should have the freedom to choose the educational outcomes and pathways for their children. So ultimately, we want it to be universal. Yeah, so we worked with leadership and members all summer long. We tightened the bill up and we proposed it once again this upcoming session. The bill's been filed. It was filed as a unified bill. Both chambers came together with a unified proposal that is more succinct. It's tighter. It has it's less complicated, as it were, than the last pieces of legislation. And in the meanwhile, we had an election in this state, and school choice candidates won in many seats across the state. We have seen not only at the local level and in our state elections, but obviously what just happened last week at the federal level. President Trump has long believed that school choice is important for the people of this country and that education freedom is something that all Americans could have. He's talked about it. He campaigned on it. One thing's very evident about what happened last week. And President Trump is very clear about what his policies are. And Americans were very clear about their acceptance of those policies last week. They, with a strong mandate, said, we like what we hear. We want him to execute on those things. And President Trump has a significant understanding and a clear understanding, and is the leader, frankly, on the issue of school choice. All of those things benefit us as we move into this next session. I think it is a great idea to dismantle the Department of Education federally. I'm a strong believer that policy at the state level should be handled by states, that states know best. In this case, states certainly know best. We know best in Tennessee what our children need and how best to educate our kids. The parents of this state should be given a greater influence on how their kids are educated. And that will happen if the federal Department of Education is dismantled and those funds are delivered to states to be used in a more efficient and more effective way going forward. The federal Department of Education was created in 1979. people like me came through the public school system in Tennessee when there was no federal Department of Education. We knew
Right.
how to do it then. We know how to do it now. In fact, we know how to do it now better than we did then.
Right.
Tennessee just created a funding formula that uniquely recognizes the needs of children with disabilities, with dyslexia, with English as a second language. We have a funding formula that allocates dollars to children based on their individual needs. We know how to fund education for Tennessee children. We know much better than they do it in a bureaucratic institution like the Federal Department of Education.
Mm-hmm.
I would welcome, I think President Trump is exactly right. I think it's a great idea. He talked about it again as a candidate. Americans said, yes, we like that idea. And I'll tell you what, as a governor, I would welcome the
Yeah.
partnership with President Trump in allowing states to choose and determine how best to spend education dollars for their kids. What I will say is, and what I hope is that whoever takes this job is looking to work themselves out of a job.
Yeah, there you go.
It will take the right kind of leader who really understands, and I think who really understands how states can function and how problematic for states federal bureaucracies are. Governors understand that. There are a lot of folks who would be well qualified for this, but the next person needs to be hoping to work themselves out of a job. Oftentimes opponents will say that school choice initiatives hurt public schools. I think it's just the opposite. And I think in our state, we're going to make sure it's just the opposite. This legislation that we're actually bringing forth is an education policy initiative. It's not just an education freedom scholarship bill. It includes historic funding for public schools, bonuses for public school teachers. We will include alongside with this legislation a teacher pay raise plan that'll put us in the top 15 states for teacher pay raise in the country. And we're committing state dollars through our sports gambling revenues. We're committing those state dollars to facilities funding for public schools specifically. We can have the best public schools in America. We can commit the right amount of finances and the right amount of focus. We can strengthen and support our public schools in unprecedented ways and provide freedom and opportunity for parents and choice at the same time. Those are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they shouldn't be. We should improve every educational opportunity for every kid in our state, and we'll do so through this legislation. I think our country is waking up to, or it's certainly moving toward a clearer understanding of why parents know best for their children as it relates to education, as it relates to children, questions about their health, as it relates to, frankly, parents know best when it comes to their kids. And we're seeing that play out all across the country. This issue of school choice, as you know, I think some 30 states have some level of school choice, 10 of them universal school choice, and most of those 10 states have passed their universal school choice legislation just in the past couple of years. Americans in growing numbers, and now the majority of Americans, as evidenced by the past elections, have come to believe that school choice is the way of the future. It is the answer to challenging the status quo. It is the way that we take America's rankings and educational outcomes that used to be the top in the world from way down the list as it relates to other countries back up into the outcomes that we hope for this country. This is a way to challenge and change and bring innovation into an education system that's grown stale and bloated and bureaucratic. And we see it happening all across America. We believe it's going to happen in Tennessee. It is a incredibly important moment in our country for parental rights and for the future of children and their education.
So I thought that was a really great explanation of the direction we could go with education, because all of my life, public school education sucked. Okay, well, I can honestly say maybe not in my era, because back when I was little, in the early 70s, okay, when I was in, like, I remember, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. The teachers of that era were very different. Number one, they were much older, okay, and the way they taught us how to read and write, it was
Yep.
very good. It was very good. That was very good. Today it sucks. And the difference between today and back then, it's so many teachers that are attracted to little kids. They and they're not that far in age from them. You got a 16, 17-year-old girl in high school, and the teacher is 21 or 22.
How
You
many of
got
them learn how to write script?
right, they don't. And you got the teacher who's, you know, 23, okay, between 23 and 25, in love with the high school football guy. And it's like, just sucks. It's not good. And I like his idea because school's not like it was. When you got a 1970s teacher, you got a hell of a teacher compared to today. I'm sorry, hands down.
That's
But
true.
yeah, and I think they were more compassionate for the child learning back when I was little. It was much more strict. Um, I like his plan because it can go so many flexible ways, giving the parent the choice and also giving the teacher a choice. Sometimes today, teachers can now have um school online, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, the states, I can see the states putting a limitation to how many students you can have online. I would even cap it like, you can only have 10 students online. That way the focus is,
On the
for
child.
the teacher, they could do so many things in Zoom, like putting them in groups, those 5 to
Yep.
10 students, put them in groups, and they're not all together, and then bring them together, in work groups. I like that. I also, and I think a lot of teachers would agree to this because they're home safe, being teachers online. They're scheduled to be, teachers from whatever. You can start it at 8 in the morning and end it the regular time for school, and you have your students in Zoom, and you're teaching them because they have the ability to share screens and put them in different groups, like I said, like work groups, split them up in teams. And I it also should be mandatory that, okay, say like they're given 10 students, I think it should be very diverse. You can't have 10 black students or 10 white students. No, you need, if you're going to have 10, you should have two Asians in there, two blacks, two whites, two Latinos in the class, because it also gives the children to be able to interact with different cultures. That's what I would want for my grandsons. Because, see, you're talking about raising children to be sociable. And when you have two Asian students, okay, even if you put four Asian students in there, and children of different races, it has to be equal. These children that are, say, like with me, if I was, in sixth grade, and in my Zoom class, I have three Asian students. You're going to grow up with them kids online, and you're going to remember each other. And it makes the relationship better when you're doing foreign business, because they're going to say, I was in school, and I know um, um, Fong To or whatever, and I hear he went back home to his country, and he's has a car business, and I'm here, I'm a mechanic, I want to sell cars. He's going to remember little Toby and say, hey, I want to ship some cars to you, so for you to sell, you can sell my cars. That kind of stuff. You need to develop the foreign relationships early, because then you grow up and you have better business, because now you've grown up with them from being little, and it's easier to do business because now you're in a school with so many different cultures. And I would like to see that really um carry out. I mean, after retirement, I wouldn't even mind coming being a teacher and have 6 students, and it depends on, how your state says, okay, you can, they're in school, they're actually students of uh ABC high school, but they're homeschool students. And as long as you're meeting the curriculum with those students, and it's also helpful for students that suffer being a bully, or being the bully, or the not the bully, because then you don't have the bully in school. If parents elect to let their children go to physical school, the bully can be school homeschooling, have homeschooling, so you can work with this baby so he grows up to be a better person. It's kind of a way of assisting his parents with the development. You know what I'm saying? So I'm 100% with Tennessee Governor Bill Lee. And it's not good. It's sad teachers got to carry guns now. Like Empress is saying in Tennessee, that's bad. But see, if you're homeschooling, these people who pose threats, even their parents are threatening to the teachers today. A lot of these teachers are in relationship with some of these students' parents, and the parents come up to the school acting irate and crazy. But guess what? You can't do that when you're in Zoom. So we got to think about the teacher safety and the student safety. So I'm like so 100% with Tennessee bill. A lot of teachers like working from home, being teachers, and they sit in like this. So I'm 100% with that, dismantling the Department of Education. Yeah. So, yeah. And, we have the adult education. I wouldn't mind doing adult education online to help adults get their high school diplomas who've never, had, a bumpy life, and they want to get their high school education. These stay at home moms. I love to be a teacher. You know what I mean? Online teaching them so that they would pass to get their high school diploma. So there's a lot of job creation in that. And, like I said, retired teachers won't mind doing this because it could be part-time. I mean, you can have it where the education system within its state can be so flexible. You can have like retired teachers who only want to do it part-time. So you got Betty and Joe. Joe do 2.5 days out of the week. They share the student. So the students seeing Joe 2.5 days out of the week and seeing Betty 2.5. It can get so flexible, and it's such great job creation. Yeah. So that's something to really think about. But what are your thoughts about today's, or if should I open the piano, Copper Aborigine? You can give your,
Hey, it was all good for me. I ain't got nothing to say because everything is right on what I like.
You sure you ain't got nothing you want to push out?
Nope, I pushed it out earlier when I got on.
Yeah, I really would like to see how this mass deportation is gonna take place. I wanted to see it live. I want live coverage on it happening. I do, because it's a way of letting America know we're here to protect and stand on protecting United States citizens. And I want to see that action take place, because now we know, they're getting out all these people that's on our tax dollars. We're prevented from so much. And I am writing a letter to my senators and representatives about this whole Social Security thing, with the widow's pension shot out the door. It needs to come back, because you're taking care of too many immigrants on my husband's Social Security. And you're making me wait.
They just passed something this past week about that.
They need to give us our damn deceased spouse money now, because when they left, that put us in a crisis. So take care of these immigrants that are illegal, okay, with my husband's Social Security money, federal tax dollars, and the heck with me if I'm in financial hardship. My husband's Social Security could take care of me. I don't care if I'm working. It's still my damn husband's money, and how dare you take it? My husband worked a lot of his life in the Social Security. So we have to see how that goes. But I'm going to open the panel now, Copper, and play one song and allow folks to come on and give their input on the mass deportation, how they feel about it, because there's a lot of people who don't agree with us. And also education, sanctuary cities, pastors could be arrested too. They should be arrested.
That's right. I agree. All of them should be arrested for this crime that they have committed.
Yeah, pastors should be arrested. They've been involved with immigration forever. The link is pinned to the top. I'm gonna play a little song and wait for anybody that want to come on the panel, and you can express your disagreements with us or agreements, or you might have something else as it pertains to mass deportation, federal immigration enforcement, or sanctuary cities. If you got something to say, our panel is open to all American citizens. So here we go. I'll just wait.
Let it rip.
Yeah. Smash that like button, y'all. We got 1,700 up in this piece. Shout out to the government.
I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just so it's me on go time. I think the clouds are on free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. Running from the lights, slip and get up. Thinking about the bullshit, leading right up. Mama told me one day you run out of luck. Now I'm looking up, quick tail catching up. Born into that trench mine, niggas had no straight mind. Only thing we know is break a bitch and push that bread line. Head be filled with crazy shit like shorty, had my head tied like bitch. You know you ain't coming to me about no bedtime. Ain't no keep it real, I really feel like the pressure is really on me. I know pressure is a bitch, but I don't let feelings control me. I know I've been getting colder, my niggas was flaking on me. So I had to bet some bitches at some parties. But don't blame me for it, don't blame me for it. I'm too cheap for it. Just watch me going, no brakes. Just keep top speed flowing. Bless me, test me, line me up. I know that I'm the next thing. Praying till don't catch me and arrest me. Hope that every night I make it in my best sleep. I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just so it's me on go time. I think the clouds are on free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just so it's me on go time. I think the clouds are on free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. Running from the lights, slip and get up. You ain't about the bullshit, lead it right up. Mama told me one day you run out of luck. Now I'm looking up, control catching up. Alright, I ain't resist, but don't take my chain. No, you can't search my shit. Know how it goes. These just praying that shit. Give me my chance before my grave is dig. Bless me, test me, line me up. I know that I'm the next thing. praying so don't catch me and arrest me. Hope that every night I make it in my best sleep. I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just so it's me on go time. I think the clouds are on free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. Running from the lies, slip and get up. Thinking about the bullshit, leading right up. Mama told me one day you run out of luck. Now I'm looking up, quick tail catching up. Catching up.
All right. So it looks like we don't have any objections. If we did, I don't know about them because I certainly wasn't keeping a real sharp eye on the chat room. But I don't have anything else to say. Now, unless you do, this is great because we're only 2 hours live and no more 3 hour, 4 hour lives. I can't do it. I mean, I know this is my part-time job, but geez, 2 hours is enough. It covers a lot and it gives people the chance to really watch back. And if you think our Congress is not listening and it's ringing bells and state governments heads too, like, that's not so bad. It will help a lot of teachers and bring them to safety. We have school shootings and all this. And if you're in the safety of your home running these classes, they do need to dismantle the Department of Education at the federal level and give it to the states on the grounds that the states are complying with the homeschooling, and allowing teachers to now be able to. Some teachers might want to, only have 6 students and it be their full-time job at home. It should be, they should have a right to do that. But they need to fix it so that the classes are diverse. Because what's the use of having a social program like that and not have children of different races in the class? People from Asia, India, China, and online with white students, Indian students like myself, all in a classroom. They need to have that socialization because see, when I was little, and you were little, all we really had was black and white. Like my mother in high school, and I showed you her high school picture. It was nothing but whites, in the Puerto Ricans, and Indians, black Indians, us in school, predominantly white and black though. So, and that was in her high school days in 1960s. And in my school, high school, we were diverse, but it's not like that. It's just that we were so sheltered, not having the opportunity to embrace and go to school with other cultures. Shit, I wish I did have a classroom when I was little full of Chinese kids. I would have loved that because I love Chinese culture. That's just me. I love Chinese culture. I like their clothes because their clothes cover up their whole body. So I'm a Chinese fanatic. I love their culture. I always watch their movies, and I would have loved to have the opportunity to socialize more so with children from China, women, we didn't get that. That's why so many brown people don't know how to act when it comes to other races of people.
Well, remember,
vice versa with white people.
Well, keep in mind that you got Chinese cities all over America. Most people don't know where they're at, and they kept themselves isolated from everybody else as well. So that their culture.
I can't blame them. I really can't. But online, going to school. Things are different. We're in 2025 now, and I swear, my grandsons, if they do this whole online thing, my grandsons will be in the class with a bunch of Chinese kids. Cause that's Nana, that's me. I'm serious. Japanese, Chinese, I don't care. Other cultures will be, if they're not in that class, they won't be going. Because our people in our inner city hoods have been like banned from socializing with other cultures.
Well, they
So,
use that word diversity loosely. Um, I think when they use that word, we get caught up with it, thinking that it's supposed to work for everybody. But no, that was not it. That was to throw us off from being who we are.
well, yeah, but we now know the different racial classes. I mean, we now know better. We now know we can go and correct our race with our states. I am not a black. I am American Indian, and that's who I am. And I like diversity. I can't stand being in a room or a with one race of people. That's how it was for me when I was little. And I was the black sheep because I wanted to be with everybody. I didn't give a damn, you know. So I'm into diversity.
We never
Into
cared about socializing with other people. It
now, I
was
mean,
other people
no
who didn't want
classroom
to
full of all
socialize.
right, no classroom full of all women, men and women, sociable from different races. I like to learn about other people's cultures, especially China. I don't know. That's just me. I do. I love their disciplinary culture. Now, not sticking the needles in the fingernails. That's torture. But I like their discipline. Their little kids be smart as hell when they 2 years old. And I like that if you learn their culture, you learn how they did it for their kids. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about socializing. But it is what it is. And Japan too. Yes, Japan and China. I really like right now, our kids, believe it or not, are playing games with kids from other cultures. I be hearing them, when Sammy plays the game, he be playing with people, and like I didn't think that people from little kids from India, I didn't think they use curse words.
Shoot, they cuss like sailors.
I did not know. Well, I'm just so naive I am. I did not know people from India curse because
Shoot.
they always so bowing. All the people from India I know, but Chinese, oh god, they are hilarious. I watched their movies from their ancient movies, but they be smacking the shit out of each other. They be, I was like, oh my god, she gonna fight him back, and I'm like, they be smacking the crap out of you with China.
Yeah, they funny.
I watched their movies. I love watching Chinese movies. Oh yeah, but yeah. So we'll have to see. You got to work with your state and write letters to your senators. So I mean, in my state, I don't know. I'll give it a try just so I can say I tried. But I'll try in other states, right? And where we own land at, right? In senators in the states that we own land in. And right, those senators, because we own land in the state, they are our senators where we own land at. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, things are changing.
Cursing. They feel free. America is. I do hear some Arabs curse. It's funny.
They try to. They don't work.
They're always very nice to me when I go in any gas station. I don't care if they're from India or Arabs or Lebanese. They're always nice to me. Extra nice. You can ask Willie. I laugh with them. They know who I am when I come down there. So, yeah, I like the diversity thing. So, I'm going to get out of here, y'all. It's exactly 2:00. I did my 2 hours. And I'm going to watch Smoke later. So, that's my go to sleep laugh channel because it's like a bunch of 6th graders trying to teach the Constitution. And shit is funny as hell.
Ain't that the truth? Oh man.
And then they try to switch in the more into. I'm like, you got to go, bro. That's all right because what I read earlier, the IRS is coming for their asses. All them UCC people, they're gonna be getting their butts deemed as terrorists, and they're gonna lose their exempt status. I can't wait to see it happen. I'm gonna be looking for cases and everything. But I'm out, y'all.
All righty, everybody.
Copper app. Y'all take it easy. I see y'all
Love
on
y'all.
smoke. Y'all. Love
Peace.
y'all too. Bye bye.